So I was looking around online doing some research for another video, and I came across this article on WWE.com entitled "Bray Wyatt Apologises to the Shield." Now this article piqued my interest, I must admit. Decided to read up on it, and it's all about Bray Wyatt apologising via social media. He tweeted Roman Reigns that he was sorry for all the atrocities that he brought towards the Shield over the years, and now Dean Ambrose has left the WWE. If the Shield ever needed a third member, he'd be open to it. A likely story. Now the article is simply that, an article, and that's fine. It plays into this good and bad persona that Bray Wyatt has as part of his FireFly Fun House. That's great. But we all know that Bray Wyatt has this bad side. It's not all good like he's making out in his tweets. And it's bad. It's real bad.
Yowie wowie.
Now it's taken us a very long time to get to this stage. Over the years with Bray Wyatt, WWE has constantly dropped the ball. He's gone away, reinvented himself, not to this extent. It's always been an extension of the Sister Abigail gimmick. This has elements of it, but this is much more bizarre than any of us expected. And it has worked. It really has piqued the interest of so many people, and we're excited to see where it goes. And I do believe that Bray Wyatt could be a monster heel with this gimmick if the booking is right when Bray Wyatt makes his debut and picks his first victim. It's very important for WWE to get that first victim right, and I use the word victim because it must be that. Bray Wyatt cannot afford to lose his first feud. And when I came across this article and I read Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, the first thing I thought, please do not book Bray Wyatt in a feud with the big dog. Yeah, don't do that. Now this is nothing towards Roman Reigns, but it's more at WWE's booking of the big dog, because we know that WWE like to book Reigns strong, and if he's being booked strong, that doesn't vote well for one Bray Wyatt. Now at the moment, Roman Reigns is jumping between feuds. He's kind of poking his nose in other superstars' business because WWE don't really have anything major for him at the moment. And could that be because they are holding him back for the arrival of Bray Wyatt? I hope not. Now the way that I would book Bray Wyatt coming into the WWE with his FireFly Fun House would be to have him come in and start off not small. He can pick a superstar of some notoriety, but don't go in with the big dog. And Bray Wyatt needs to be a winning machine. He needs to be able to beat superstars convincingly, maybe even squash superstars. I would do it with the factor that he can freak them out. It's something they haven't seen before, and that can add to the fact that he can just simply win. And I'd have him win, 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 win. I'd have him win all the way up to SummerSlam, where he challenges Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, and Bray Wyatt wins that championship and is crowned a monster heel, the top heel in WWE. Now that booking is as simple as it gets. How can it go wrong? All you've got to do is focus on Bray Wyatt and his character development. You're not going to be burying superstars here by having him win easily. It's simply the fact they've never seen something like this before, and Bray Wyatt has managed to harness the darkness within him, making him stronger than he's ever been. So how can this go wrong? Well, it can only go wrong if Bray Wyatt is booked into a feud with somebody who is equally as strong, if not stronger, and that is the Superman of the WWE, who has no kryptonite. Of course, that's Roman Reigns. Now I'm not saying Bray Wyatt should never feud with Roman Reigns, but not at this point. It doesn't need to happen, because Bray Wyatt needs to be fed superstars that he can beat, and then he can move on. And once again, I'll repeat, that is not a burial of those superstars. It's just the fact that these superstars cannot adjust to the unpredictability of Bray Wyatt. So that is the way that I would map out Bray Wyatt's future. I would have him beating people, moving on and getting to SummerSlam to capture Universal Championship gold. That's my path for Bray Wyatt. But how about you? And the big question that I want to ask you guys is, who would you have feud with Bray Wyatt when he arrives in the WWE? Who should he kick off? Who should he start with? It shouldn't be Roman Reigns, but who should it be? Maybe you think it should be Roman Reigns, but I'm going to take a lot of convincing if you are going to comment that, and you're going to have to give me a real good reason why you think it should be Roman Reigns, because with WWE's current booking, it's going to be hard to convince me when we all know that Vince loves Roman. So if Roman's in a feud with Bray Wyatt, the odds are Roman comes out on top.
Yowie wowie.
So let me know what you think. You've heard what I think, now I want to hear from you. And I did also have another booking idea which would work slightly different for Bray Wyatt's path towards SummerSlam. Now, I said that I want Bray Wyatt to capture the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. It doesn't necessarily mean that Bray Wyatt has to challenge Seth Rollins and that be a long build towards SummerSlam, because Bray Wyatt could indeed pick up the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, he's not involved in the match at the moment, but that doesn't mean to say that he can't involve himself, and he could take the briefcase and then not give it back and claim it as his own, and that could build into a scenario where he does actually challenge for the briefcase in a separate match, he wins, and then he is officially the Money in the Bank holder. And I would do that at this Sunday's pay-per-view with every superstar either being laid out, the lights go out, and then the lights come back on, and there's Bray Wyatt at the top of the ladder with that mask on, and he's holding the briefcase in his hand. The lights go out again, more creepiness, and he's gone. And then there's this controversy. Is Bray Wyatt the Money in the Bank holder? Is he not? If he isn't, how are they going to get the briefcase back? Maybe superstars have to go to the FireFly Fun House to try and get it from him. It could build into a really, really cool storyline. The other idea that I had, just to play it out a little bit, maybe to ignite a feud where they challenge for the briefcase, is of course you could have one superstar at the top of that ladder about to take down the briefcase, and Bray Wyatt stops them. If he did that, then of course he's got a feud to start with, he can beat them, the briefcase could be involved in that, and he could take the briefcase away. So you could do either of those two scenarios. I think both of them would work out very well for Money in the Bank and Bray Wyatt. Or you could simply have that slow build of Bray Wyatt gradually beating superstars and it not involve Money in the Bank at all, and him heading towards a match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. One thing we mustn't see at Sunday's pay-per-view is Bray Wyatt interfere in the Roman Reigns Elias match. If that happens,
Yowie wowie.
Now, from what I've read, this persona is the brainchild of Bray Wyatt. He went away and he approached artists to help design the FireFly Fun House, the mask that we've seen this week on Raw. So Bray Wyatt has done all the hard work. He approached Vince McMahon, he got the green light for the persona too, and Bray Wyatt has delivered. Now WWE need to deliver for him, and they need to do that by credible booking when he does arrive on Monday Night Raw. That is going to be the telling moment, and we will know whether or not WWE are truly invested in this gimmick. If he arrives like he's done in the past, off of strong vignettes, being made to look like a really credible character, then he picks up a loss straight away, we know WWE are not invested. If he comes in and he picks up the win but it's not strong enough, we know WWE are not invested. If he comes in and he faces Roman Reigns, I'm just going to be worried, because the result is usually Reigns picks up the win, the opponent picks up the L, the opponent goes down the card, and Reigns goes up. If you think otherwise, you're really going to have to justify it to me. You're going to have to convince me how on earth Bray Wyatt feuding with Roman Reigns is going to be good. Because I just can't see it. And don't just say Wyatt beats Reigns. We know it's never as clean cut as that. If Wyatt was to beat Reigns, all that would happen is Reigns would get a victory later on down the line, and that's not going to help Bray Wyatt either. So I want to get your views on this. I might just say anyone but Reigns, but who would you have feud with Bray Wyatt when he arrives in WWE, and what would your path be for Bray Wyatt and his FireFly Fun House? You've heard mine. It'll be a road to SummerSlam. When he gets to SummerSlam, he picks up the Universal Championship, and he is a monster heel in the company. But now I want to hear from you. I'm very interested to hear your paths for Bray Wyatt. Would it start at Money in the Bank, or would it start after that? There's all sorts of things to think about, but the one thing that must happen is Wyatt must be booked strong, and Wyatt must win. Wins are important. All that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. Have your view, and this is Delzinski, hoping, praying that this is Bray Wyatt's time, and this is Delzinski signing out.